Welcome to this Advent devotional series. This is day 22 of our series. I am Reverend Lester Spees, and I have the privilege of serving as pastor at Memorial Lutheran Church in Glendale, Wisconsin. During this Advent season, I will be reflecting on some tough questions that come from Scripture and on some sacred spaces that have helped me to respond to those tough questions. Thank you for joining me in this journey. This devotion is for Sunday, December 18th, 2022. And our tough question comes from John chapter 6, verse 68. Lord, to whom can we go? I like to talk. That statement will come as a surprise to almost no one. Most people who know me know this truth. However, there have been a few exceptions to this rule. For example, as a student in grade school, college, or even seminary, whenever possible, I would stay as quiet as possible. I'm not exactly sure where and when this particular phobia started, but I wasn't generally the first person to raise a hand to answer or ask a question. And for that matter, I wasn't generally the last person to raise a hand to answer or ask a question either, or any person in between those two extremes. I was happy to stay as quiet as possible in my classes and focus on the instruction. After class or before class, a conversation might very well take place to clarify questions or concerns and make an observation or two directly with the teacher or professor or with trusted classmates. But the time during class was usually my quiet time. It is often true that context matters. So there are times when I can and do remain silent. Still, this truth remains: I like to talk. The people who have often had to suffer the most because of my love for talking would certainly include my family. However, professionally, the ones who have suffered the most have been those who have served in any roles where they find themselves physically near me when I am in one of my talkative moods. The titles have changed depending upon the year and the location. Those titles include receptionist, secretary, office assistant, administrative assistant, and office manager. But the roles that they play in my life, in my time of need, have not changed all that much. Their job descriptions have all varied, but I'm certain that the final item says something like this: and any other duties as assigned. In the other duties category, you can count on having to spend some time in conversation with me. I often need time to process things before responding so that my pronouncements do not seem too extreme. And those at the front desk of the church office have turned out to be great people who have helped me in that process. I saw this kind of thing happen as a kid. My grandmother was the secretary of my home church after she retired from her years of work as a cashier at the local grocery store. When I went to visit with her at the church office, I saw how the pastor would come to her and ask questions, get information, consider ideas, and get her opinions. My grandmother knew everybody in the church, and she cared deeply for the church. So she was a great resource for the pastor during such times. Having witnessed this and the resulting success of such a process, I often find myself doing the exact same thing: asking questions, getting information, considering ideas, and seeking opinions from the people who know best, whatever their title may be. The first person to play this role for me was Donna, secretary at the University Lutheran Parish. Nicole Office manager at Memorial Lutheran is the one who provides that wisdom and support now. In between, there have been many other wonderful people who have been there for me. And their offices have been the spaces where honest conversation, strategic planning, and processing of critical and not so critical information have happened. They may not have a title like spiritual advisor on their office door, but that is often how they have served me and the church. And for what it is worth, I happen to know that I am not the only one who has come to one of these gifted people over the years with the same thought in mind. I notice things too. And what I've noticed is that many parishioners do the very thing I have done. They come to the office to ask questions, get information, consider ideas, and look for opinions. And who most often does everyone seek when looking for such resources? The pastor? No, not exactly. They come to the one whose final job description says something like this, and any other duties as assigned. I like to talk, and I know that I can and do talk to Jesus in prayer. I am grateful that I am able to go to Christ and that Christ hears and responds to my prayer. But there have been times when I have needed to go to a human with an ear ready to listen and respond in the here and now. When those times have happened, and those times have happened a lot every single week of my ministry, I have been so grateful for the people, whatever their title may have been, who have been willing to listen and help me process all of the information coming my way. Thank God for their service to the church and to me. And thank God for their space where welcome, forgiveness, and understanding abound.